how dare we tell the truth, which is absolutely not what Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers of Los Angeles, should be in San Diego or La Jolla, whale's vagina and stuff. Jim Harbaugh did an interview on his way out of Michigan yesterday with the Detroit News where he proclaimed 100% innocence. Jim Harbaugh saying that he is the victim of a smear campaign. You see right here in the Detroit News, Jim Harbaugh says, quote, "I can account for myself. I can account for the players. They were always innocent. I was innocent. You walk strong and tall and innocent. Don't mind the priceless motivation. It didn't hurt." And here is my question. If Jim Harbaugh is innocent, why is he facing 3 separate different investigations? Why is he self-admitted to level 1 and level 2 violations? Why did he self-suspend for those level 1 and level 2 violations? See, this is where my struggle is. Jim Harbaugh goes to the Detroit News where he knows he will be asked no difficult questions. It was a softball interview. I would encourage you to read the Bro Bible link that I tweeted out today. The Detroit News is behind a paywall. I support journalism. If you would like to go pay $7 to read that interview, feel free. I am telling you that it is absolutely a shine job on Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh espoused about his innocence, about the greatness of motivation and kids playing for each other. And it was quite the remarkable self-aggrandizing, sticking your head in the sand and not telling the truth about the reality of the situation, which is Jim Harbaugh is anything but innocent. Jake, are you surprised that he did an interview like this on his way out of Ann Arbor?
On some level, I am a little surprised because you're out now. You're in the league. It's over. Like, you don't need to acknowledge this situation anymore. Like, you don't need to play the victim anymore. You don't need to run from anything anymore because it's over. You've left the situation. So on one hand, I am very surprised. But on the other hand, this is who Jim is. This is what I've been trying to say about this dude. This guy wants to do the interviews. This guy wants to be in the middle of it. This guy wants to play the victim, and he wants to say that people are just out to get him. And you just need to understand that about Jim Harbaugh. And when things go sideways, Jim's going to say everybody else but me, right? Jim's going to say, oh, I never did anything like that. The kids, and they were innocent, and I'm innocent. And, you know, you can't let the haters get to you, and it's us against the world, and that was our motivation, right? Like, this guy is a master manipulator, and he's very good at his craft. The combination of winning plus master manipulation is lethal. And that's where we are with Jim. And so when he goes to the league and joins the Chargers, which I think his schedule is Monday, he's doing that. He's in Ann Arbor, and then he's doing a couple other things.
He's going to Baltimore to support John.
Yeah, so he's got a couple of things, and then he's going to head out to, what should be San Diego, but is LA. You rent space from the Rams, right? Like, so this guy understands how to play the game. So am I surprised? Yeah, like at some point, I would think Jim would leave this in the past. But on the other hand, this guy relishes the opportunity.
Yeah, I am surprised he did this. I am not surprised he didn't go to the Detroit Free Press, because the Detroit Free Press has, they would have pressed him on several major issues, which the Detroit News was not going to do. But to say I was innocent is pretty rich. And then he was asked about running from NCAA punishment, which, as we reported this week on the show, we were told by multiple sources he was never going to allow the NCAA to have power over his career, and that he felt like he was a victim or would have been victimized by the NCAA had he gone back. He was asked that question, and this is typical Jim Harbaugh. In 6th grade, my English teacher introduced the concept of critical reading. This concept of believing everything you hear and everything you read, it's all good. And you know what? The proof was in the pudding. There is no villain. I've long thought this. When a coach leaves, the only way everybody is happy is if that coach dies. Like, what are you talking about? If that coach dies, and I think Jim Harbaugh is that guy you want to like, right? Successful, went home, but like wins a national championship. Okay, cool. But the only way people are happy is if the coach dies. It's shit like this that I just can't wrap my head around.
Well, and I think the most critical piece of the recipe for Jim is the winning portion, because if he didn't win anything, he wouldn't be able to do this. And so it's this thing where it's like, yeah, this guy is successful, and like, the NFC championships and the things he did in the league, and then obviously this national championship with Michigan, and like,
Yeah.
so like he is successful in terms of football, but the way he goes about it makes you have to second guess, and makes you like, I know a lot of people have resentment towards Jim, and they feel like, man, dude, like, can you just stop talking? Can you just go to the league, go take the job, disappear for a few months, work on your roster, and we'll hear from you when the season starts again, or when training camp starts again, or hell, even OTAs, right? Like, that's what a lot of people want. So yeah, I'm surprised, but I look at this guy and I'm like, man, this guy loves to do stuff like this. He loves to play the media
certainly
game,
does.
dude. He enjoys it.
And I don't fault him for that. I don't fault him for that at all. I just think I don't understand why do you come out and proclaim your innocence? And like in this quote here, he's talking about not believing everything you hear and you read, when he knows damn well that the Detroit News is not going to ask. But if you were to say, well, what's been written that's untrue about you? What's been written and said about you that is not true? That's the question that needs to be asked. And he's going to say, well, hey, I can't talk about the case. Well, then why are you bringing this up? Are you not throwing this out there to make people believe that everything that's been talked about with you is a lie? And I go back to the facts on this stuff, and they don't support Jim Harbaugh's proclamations of innocence. So I again ask, why are you proclaiming your innocence? It's not something you need to do.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
You by taking the Charger job, you'll never be held accountable for the things that you did at Michigan.
Well, and I think in the court of public opinion, you're always going to be looked at as kind of guilty for what you did.
Yeah.
You're going to, it looks like you're running from the accountability and the discipline for your actions. And that's why I say, like, if I was, last week when we were talking about Jim taking the Charger job, part of that conversation was, hey, how much do the Spanoses care about what happened at Michigan with Jim? Because what happens when all this stuff comes out that happened at Michigan, and as Jim said, the proof is in the pudding. Well, the pudding's going to come out, Jim. And when we all know what you did, how are the Spanoses going to feel about the guy who's leading their franchise?
And I just keep coming back to this idea that, that I can't get away from. I was talking to a guy last night about this. If there is this proclamation of innocence, why didn't Michigan go to court and fight for him? If the program was innocent and he was innocent, why did Michigan pull that temporary restraining order from a judge that is a Michigan football player and a Michigan law alum? Why did they not go and fight their case in front of that judge? I don't understand it. And the hard part is, now Michigan fans are claiming that the NCAA made up this rule about, the level 1 violation if a staff member is found guilty. That rule's been in place for over a year now. So when you fired Connor Stallions and when you basically made him a scapegoat, you admitted that you knew. And I again ask, if Jim Harbaugh last night claimed he was completely innocent on everything he is accused of, why did you self-impose a 3-game suspension then?
Well, he'll tell you he's doing it for the kids. That's always been his go-to escape hatch. Oh, I'm doing it for the kids.
But you admitted you guys, it's not a question of his dishonesty to the NCAA. If you did nothing wrong, why are you evading? Why were you dishonest? Why did you refuse to talk to the NCAA Committee on Infractions? If you are completely innocent, why did you avoid that stuff? Like, this is what my struggle is. You've just won a national championship. You've just left Michigan for the perfect job that seems like the perfect fit. Why are you talking?
It's a great question.
Why do this interview?
By the way, maybe
at the 11th hour yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, maybe his agent could give him some advice, because I think nothing good comes from this. Like that's the other thing that I look at, just from like a media narrative. Like, hey, like, what's the story right now on Jim? Like, nothing good comes from acknowledging the situation. So if you wanted to do a sit down with a news outlet and just talk about the national championship and kind of the season, you could have easily done, I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about that, or I'm not, like, he could have just stayed away from it. But he talks about it because he likes to be maybe villain strong, but like, he likes to be that guy that's right in the middle of it. He loves being up on the dais, taking questions. You guys remember that press conference he did where, they're asking him all these questions, and he looks over to the Michigan media rep and he's like, dude, like, how many more questions am I going to have to take? That was the last time I saw Jim kind of fight the media and like be abrasive about it. Now he just does this whole thing where he just plays a victim, and that's just his whole deal.
It's wild to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand guys. And I think we've seen this with Bill Clinton, certainly with Donald Trump, with guys in trouble. We see this all the time with powerful men that find themselves in trouble, because women don't do this. Generally, women just resign and they're gone. It's like we have an ego problem where we have to stand up there, and we got caught with the gun and the mask and the bag of cash from the robbery, right?
I'm for real.
Like, it's right here next to us. And we're doing the interview, and we're taking off the mask, and on camera, we set the mask down, and we're unloading the gun. We put it over here, and then we just pull out the money and we start counting it. We're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't steal any money. What bank? What you mean, man? That's what you're doing. Why do this? I think it hurts him. Less of us, more of you here on the Monty Show. Are you playing Prize Picks with us? Don't take my advice on Prize Picks anymore. Don't do it, because we got I can't talk for Jimmy Dumbo over here, who's all sick and congested now. But Coco, how you feeling over there? You getting any worse yet?
I'm chilling, bro.
I got piped on Prize Picks last night. I told you what I was doing on Prize Picks. Oh, you took my Prize Picks out. Thank you. So I didn't have to.
Yeah, I didn't want you to endure the embarrassment.
Anthony Davis, I got him at 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Close Davis.
He finished at 39. You prick. All he needed was one more basket. Nah, can't do that. Can't do that. I would just like to say Colin Sexton, on this rip of 20, 30-point games, gave me 11 last night. Thanks for that, bud. Really appreciate you very much. Thanks. Right? How many? Now on the show, we had an argument about Lauri Markkanen. Jake's like, under 7 threes. He's not shooting 7 threes. Hey, Jake, Washington doesn't defend.
Yeah,
he's going to attack the basket.
Yeah, that was the logic. Hey, dude.
Wasn't very
bro,
logical.
The guy is, what is he, 6'11", I think he is, or whatever Lauri is?
Yeah, he shot
to the basket.
Under 7 threes. Nah, bro, he shot 12.
Buddy rolls out with 12 threes. Just rando, dude.
6 threes, I believe, in the first quarter.
Jesus.
It was over. PrizePicks.com.
You know who I am?
Download the app. Use the promo code Monty to get 100% deposit matching. Cannot wait. Later in the show, we'll share our prize picks for the weekend. I can tell you right now, and I told you yesterday that there is an open prop on Christian McCaffrey, half a rushing yard. Christian McCaffrey, half a rushing yard.
Might want to pick it up.
You might want to go pick it up. PrizePicks.com, promo code Monty for 100% deposit matching. Let's see who's in this morning. Aaron Wilson. Hello, he says certain individuals. Okay. Mr. Preston, the greatest mechanic ever. Good morning, casuals. Monty in the morning. Going to be a good day. Indeed, it is.
Hey, guys.
Christopher Shannon would like to know if you have mud butt water.
Okay.
Already.
19
minutes into the show.
Like, dude, how do we get focused on things to do with the butthole? Like,
Well,
how does that happen, bro?
but you've got the vid. OG Gary, ingest some bleach, Jake. Donnie said it was safe.
Like,
hydroxychloroquine.
how do I, like,
bro,
what am I supposed to do with that, dude? Ingest some bleach?
Donnie.
It's an antibody cocktail. It's
Like, come on, dude. What am I supposed to do with this, bro?
Oh my God.
Like,
that's amazing.
Biologics.
Like,
Yeah,
come
Donnie,
on,
Donnie
dude.
said it was fine. Big shout out to Aaron Wilson, gifted a Monty Show membership.
Let's go, baby.
Appreciate you. Look at Brandon Butler, Chicago's very own, gifting 10.
Let's go, baby. Hey, it's
Monty
Giving
Show
Friday. Let's go.
memberships.
Give some memberships. Let's go.
Let's
Pay it
go.
forward.
Appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's Giving Friday. We haven't given away an Amazon gift card this week.
Yeah, well, guys got to like the show. You
All
gotta
right,
do your
yeah,
part.
let's do it again. I want to give you guys. I've offered a $100 Amazon gift card every day this week on the show.
And to their credit, the percentage is better today. Working on 1,000 views, almost 100 likes already. So we're working on 10%.
39 likes.
You know,
I'm
just
not
saying,
sure what
like-
you're looking at. 40 likes. Okay, how about this? There are 236 people watching the show. Get to 140 likes. Just 100 more people hit the like button right now. In the next, it is 22 past the hour. In the next 2.5 minutes, if 100 people, if we get to 100 likes, 140 likes, excuse me, in the next 2.5 minutes, there are 240 people watching the show. If you hit the like button, I will give a subscriber of this show a $100 Amazon gift card. That's the only requirement. Be subscribed, hit the like button in the next 2 minutes now. And we've picked up nine likes already. And
So I said, yeah.
I'll give away a $100 Amazon gift
Do
card.
it.
It's that simple. So you've got 2.5 minutes. 90 more likes are needed. Let's start getting your comments in. Oh, Ferris Khan is in this morning.
Wow.
Ferris says Michigan's not going anywhere.
You're damn right about that, sir. It's going to be a long 10 years.
Did you expect them to like pack up a moving van and they were?
Yeah,
they were,
is this the U-Haul Pac-12 concept?
that, like everybody else, they were headed to Columbus?
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
Moore is actively on the recruiting trail. Why would you expect him not to be? Why would Jerome Moore not be out recruiting? Cannot be announced because of Michigan law, right? We said that yesterday and Wednesday on the show.
Well said.
Very few players are leaving. Well, actually, that's not true.
Hey, you ever heard of something called the NFL draft, bro?
The NFL draft and the transfer portal. And I would also remind you, the transfer portal, they cannot get into the transfer portal because at this moment in time, they cannot go and early enroll at another university. So there is no impetus for them to get into the portal right away. And for those of you who don't know, when a coach leaves a program, Jim Harbaugh left for the Chargers on Wednesday. Every player on his team has 30 days to put their name into the transfer portal. But this is about the worst time for Jim Harbaugh, who, don't forget, loves and cares about his players. This is the worst time, for transferring. You're at the end of January going into February. You cannot early enroll anymore. That period's gone. And you would not be able to take part in spring football. So you're going to wait for the April transfer portal window, which I think is April 16th. That's when you're going to see significant movement off of Michigan's roster.
Yeah.
You're not going to have guys. And you could conceivably, if you're a Michigan football player, get in the portal now. But why would you do that? So here's what happens. The minute you get into the transfer portal, you're out of the loop at Michigan. You're not going to be in the weight room. You're not going to be in the meetings. You're not going to be in the development plan, the off-season workouts. You're not going to be doing any of that. That's all done.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you tell people, hey, I'm getting in the portal. So you're done there. But if you are smart and savvy as a football player and you're going to transfer, you're going to wait until that April window so that you can continue to get your development. You can continue to get your strength and conditioning. You can continue to get your training table, which is your food. You're going to get your credits and your grades for the spring quarter. And then you're going to get in the portal in April after spring football, after all those practices, after all those scrimmages, after all that skill development. That's when you're going to do that. So this idea, and a ton of Michigan fans are in the comment section and on Twitter saying, well, nobody's in the portal yet. Why would they get in the portal now? It hurts them. It doesn't help them. Now, had he made this decision in December, you could have justified getting in the portal because then you could have enrolled at any other school you wanted to go to, and you'd have been in the development pipeline.
Yeah.
But you can't do that now until the spring.
Yeah.
Shut up, Jack. Don't be airing me out like that. Jack said, OG Gary is secretly a Monstars fan. Okay. You know. Christopher Shannon, Michigan is going to be hurt and guilty. I think Michigan fans, the thing that Michigan fans don't want to talk about, it's not a question of are you guilty? Because again, under oath, in court, in filings that are subject to perjury, you never denied your guilt. You simply denied lack of process. Remember that. When Michigan was talking about, hey, look how puffed our chests are, we're coming to kick you in the mouth. When they were being tough guys and, filing court cases they were never going to fight.
Yep.
They did it for a lack of due process. They didn't do it because they were innocent. They've never proclaimed their innocence.
Yeah, they've always just wanted to game the system.
I would remind you that in order for Jim Harbaugh to have self-suspended him to take that self-suspension, to admitted guilt to level 1 and level 2 violations during the COVID recruiting period, Ward Manuel and Santa Ono had to sign off on that.
Yep.
So this idea he's completely innocent, kind of ridiculous. It just makes no sense. Moore is currently minus 700 to be the Michigan coach. Well, you said he was going to be the Michigan coach already, which we reported Wednesday. And I think 2 weeks ago was the first time we said it. Michigan will keep rolling. Most that are not in anti-Michigan propaganda expect any NCAA penalties to be minimal. So let me get this right. Florida State had a collective and a booster go rogue on a recruit, and they got pretty significant penalties.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Like recruiting restrictions, scholarship reductions. So you believe that with not one, not two, but 3 serious investigations running concurrently, and at least 2 level 1 violations we know of, and probably a 3rd for Connor Stallions, you think the punishment will be minimal? No drag on the program whatsoever. Hey, it must be nice to live with your head in the sand, dude.
It's the anti-Michigan propaganda deep state, bro.
It must be nice. It is. Ferris Khan also says, for those that think that Harbaugh must have known. How many times do I have to say this on the show?
Like 5 times the last 3 days.
It quite literally doesn't fucking matter if he knew. That's not a question. I keep saying this for months and months. I said this in October when it first came out. It does not matter if Jim Harbaugh knew. The rule book is not at all in question here. It is black and white. He has a responsibility to know. Why do you think he's facing the level 1 violation for Connor Stallions? Let's all be Ferris Khan and believe that Jim Harbaugh is the most innocent guy ever. Didn't know that hamburgers during the COVID recruiting period were a level 1 violation or a level 2 violation, and didn't know that he couldn't overwork his coaches.
Had no idea
that watching workouts on Zoom was a violation, and didn't know that you couldn't buy cheeseburgers for kids in-person visits during the COVID outbreak. Never mind.
Coronavirus.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't matter if he knew, because he's supposed to know the rule book inside and out. It's his job. In fact, as part of his contract and as a part of his coaching license, because coaches have to sign in agreement with the NCAA, he has a fiduciary responsibility to know the rules and regulations of the NCAA.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
So did he know? Well, it doesn't matter if he knew. Did he know what his coaches were doing? It does not matter what he knew. I've been telling you this for months and months.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He's guilty. If they did it, he's guilty. If he knew, he's guilty. If he didn't know, he's fucking guilty. It doesn't matter. Like, you keep running this out, Michigan fan. Kim Coulter, good morning, Monty. Jake and Katie Rader, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Mike Smith, stop it. Yes, Ferris. Stop it. Ferris says I'm not a troll. I'm giving facts. I haven't seen you give a fact yet.
Yeah, what facts, dude?
You have not given a single fact.
All I've seen is the anti-Michigan propaganda train.
These guys are stirring up propaganda that will not happen. So there won't be.
Oh, God.
Let's recap. So there aren't 3 concurrent, very serious allegations being investigated. Sign stealing. We already know he's guilty of the COVID period recruiting violations. He admitted that himself.
Yeah.
And then the FBI investigation into computer crimes, which was referred to the FBI by the University of Michigan Police Department.
Oh.
So 3 very serious investigations. Those are facts. The fact that Jim Harbaugh is claiming innocence. Oh, wait, that's a lie, because he admitted that he committed violations. That's a fact. The idea that he didn't know, so he's innocent. That's a lie. In fact, it doesn't matter if he knew or not. He has to know. It's his responsibility. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? Let's see. Elk 70. So what happens if they do hire more and then the NCAA hits him with suspensions and show cause? What I think you will see, what I think will happen, and what people have told me is likely to happen, is that Sharon Moore will be a show cause for a sitting head coach is not new.
Right.
I believe the offensive coordinator at Florida State has a show cause right now. Florida or Florida State, one of the two.
Yeah.
It's not new. What will impact the program is recruiting restrictions, where Sharon Moore and others will not be allowed to leave campus to recruit and will not be allowed to visit with recruits on campus. You will have a reduction in scholarships, which I think will be severe, very severe, because you're looking at 3 big-time investigations. The best hope for Michigan fan is that the computer crimes being investigated by the FBI are gambling. That's what you're hoping.
Right.
You're hoping that, and this is not a fact. I am simply putting forward one possibility, that Matt Weiss, the former offensive coordinator at Michigan, who was terminated and is part of the FBI investigation, what you're hoping is that he was using a VPN and he was gambling. Because if that's the case, Michigan likely would not face punishment for that. Very much like,
Keyshawn Booty.
Very much, because nobody expects LSU to be punished for that.
Yeah.
But if it's anything else, if it is, in fact, a computer crime where you illegally accessed other universities' computers, or
right,
because remember what the description was. The FBI is investigating computer crimes across multiple state lines.
So
you better hope that's gambling. You better hope that Matt Weiss was using his Michigan computer to place bets on an offshore account.
Remember, the speculation at the time was that, hey, sign stealer guy and all that was connected to Matt Weiss in a gambling situation because he was using that information to place bets and make a bunch of money. So that's what the speculation is. And I could see that being a thing, but the fact that they were specific about across state lines both rules in and rules out different scenarios. So the gambling portion to me has always made sense. I mean, it's like, hey, if we're, we've got
Me too.
we've got
Me too,
an
yeah.
advantage. Like, while we have this advantage, why not? Like, type of deal. So
and U.S. Integrity or whatever the
U.S.
official name
Integrity
is one of the people that outed Michigan. Like, I mean, I just think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just got a I mean, it just, you can connect the dots, right? Like A plus B equals somebody was leveraging Connor Stalions' sign stealing operation to place bets.
Yep.
I mean, because you won money. The first time Michigan beat Ohio State, you won money. Ohio State was favored. So,
and by the way, U.S. Integrity, the way they catch people a lot of times is oddball, like, odd sized bets, or like
something relating
to
wagering around events.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It is.
Yeah.
Elks for $2. Weiss and Booty gambling together connection. I mean, how would you not? Yeah. OG Gary, Sammy, any comment on Harbaugh leaving? The same Harbaugh you were so adamant. Oh, is Sammy here today?
Oh boy, this is
Sammy the other day came in here and was like, he's not leaving. He's not leaving.
What are you, the Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
Good Lord, dude.
Mad Cat, good morning to you. Michigan football is dead for the next 10 years, potentially. I think the biggest issue here is these are a bunch of prideful people, and you're not going to let Jim Harbaugh get away with murder.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't directly impact Jim Harbaugh, you're going to take it out on Michigan.
Yeah.
And remember, and I just keep saying this, remember, the Committee on Infractions does not comment on investigations. Oh, unless it's Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, which they commented on.
Well, and I also think that, to that end, like, them making it personal is a really interesting dynamic here, because when you talk about, Michigan's, it's not going to be that bad. No, I think it's probably, like, honestly, I think it's probably going to be the worst punishment we've ever seen.
I think there's a chance. I really do. Bob Pennington, these two guys take something that can be looked at as bad or really nothing wrong. When nothing happens legally, it's because the evidence falls flat. Okay, so let's take that theory. So you filed a temporary restraining order and an injunction to prevent the Big Ten from suspending Jim Harbaugh for 3 games to end the season.
Right.
Now, you took that filing and you wrote narratives, and remember, they provided no evidence in their filing. They simply said the Big Ten has not followed due process. That's why the suspension should be injunctive. We need injunctive relief. They didn't follow process. They filed that injunction and TRO in front of a judge, and I'll say it again, graduated Michigan law and played football at Michigan University, and now is on the bench in the state of Michigan. So you had a very favorable atmosphere, a very favorable arbiter. And I mean, an hour before you were supposed to walk through those doors, you pulled your filing. And as we told you on the show, you pulled that filing because the NCAA was talking to the Big Ten, who was talking to Michigan, who was talking to the NCAA. And they were all sharing information. And the NCAA dumped a bunch of new evidence that allegedly directly tied Michigan and Jim Harbaugh to the Connor Stalions sign stealing operation. So when you say when nothing happens legally, it's because the evidence falls flat. Why did nothing happen legally in that situation? Because the evidence didn't fall flat. And I would also remind you, there's no legal issue here outside of the FBI computer crimes. These are all NCAA issues. And everybody's like, well, the NCAA didn't punish them. The NCAA doesn't act fast. The NCAA, though, the Committee on Infractions came straight away last fall and said, we're going to wait until the summer and we're going to drop the hammer on you. And now they've delivered you, again, a notice of infractions.
Do we like that they are sort of retroactive in a sense? They wait for everything to pan out and then they act like Like, I kind of see it both ways. I was here for the noise about, hey, Michigan shouldn't be able to compete for a national championship, but at the same time, you can't keep them off the field unless you're willing to release all the evidence and make it a publicly known situation. So, like, I wish they would move faster, but at the same time, like, one natty in the course of 10 years, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they do it.
Which, again, you're not going to, they didn't win that national championship. Yeah, they did.
But I think there's no getting away from the fact that national championship is a little stained. Like,
it's
they won
tainted
it, but
for
yeah,
certain.
Yeah.
Sammy A. Hey, moron. Okay. Harbaugh left for all the BS, and he doesn't want this BS hanging over the best university on this planet. So, listen, I don't know what Notre Dame has to do with this conversation. So just let me get this right. He left for all the BS, and he doesn't want the BS hanging over the best university. So
Notre Dame, our mother.
I'm going to assume you're talking about Notre Dame. I don't think any of this is hanging over Notre Dame. I don't. I mean,
dude, the commitment, Sammy, I got to give you credit, bro. The commitment to never saying I was wrong is truly
it's
incredible.
Wild. And I am proud of you, Sammy, for coming in here today and being the cock slap that you were the other day and then doubling down on it.
Yes.
I mean, it's remarkable.
Oh, man, dude.
And if he didn't want the BS hanging over the university, wouldn't he have stayed and fallen on the sword and been like, yeah, I did this. It was 100% me, because now all it is hanging over. Do you think Sharon Moore doesn't get asked about it on the recruiting trail, does he?
All the time.
No, hanging over. What? Steve Stepanek, could they get banned from the Big Ten championship? Yeah, I think if I had to guess, Michigan will self-discipline. Before we ever get any discipline from the NCAA, Michigan will impose a multi-year postseason ban. And my guess is they will reduce their own scholarships and reduce their own recruiting activities.
Right.
Which is what USC did. It's what ASU did. It's what every university does who is facing significant sanctions from the NCAA.
And they've all still been slapped.
Yeah. So I think it is. I think it is absolutely going to happen. The Big Lubbock, good morning. If I had the other team's signs, I would bet on Michigan
right?
too.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the FBI thing makes sense, that it might be gambling.
Yes, I would agree with that. Harry Austin for $10. What would be a serious punishment for Michigan? Oh, I think somewhere between 30 and 50 scholarship reductions over 3-4 years. I think a complete write down on their recruiting abilities. You can have no on-campus visits for the next year. And you are limited to a certain number of off-campus visits. If Sharon Moore is linked and is known to have knowledge, he will not be able to off-campus recruit for 2 years. I mean, it's going to be it. You look at the ASU recruiting violations, and I think that's the kind of restriction you're going to see, because what Michigan did here was not only did they have a significant breach of COVID period recruiting action, they then doubled down on that. And during the same time, we're operating a massive sign stealing operation off campus where, and the worst part of this is they've been so staunchly hyperbolic about it. Like, well, everybody's doing it. That notice from Desmond Howard on ESPN to, I mean, everybody who speaks on behalf of Michigan, Charles Woodson, everybody. Well, everybody's doing it. Never once. We didn't do that. What? Vacuum salesman was on his own. Nobody has ever said that. In fact, look at the people who follow Connor Stallions. Look at the people that interact with all Michigan dudes.
Yep.
Like that's what's going to get them in trouble. They're going to get pinched because of just how
brazen.
Brazen. I mean, just self-aggrandizing, proud. They like just never once have they're going to, and Sammy and everybody else in this room that's pro-Michigan who's telling me I'm such an a-hole and
Well,
I
it's a
hate
moron,
Michigan.
moron,
Moron. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Then I'm a moron. What are you going to do when Michigan comes out and admits to what they've done?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest.
Because they're going to do that. Part of their deal with the NCAA is they will have to admit what they've done. And you know the worst part about all this? For a university that is elite, because Michigan's an elite university, whether it's law school or anything else, like that's a fine institution. This is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, that you sent people, you carved out a budget from your football money to send people to stadiums where you bought tickets, funded phones and crowd accounts on public Venmo. When you get all of the tape that they recorded, you get all of that. You get it all sent to you every single week. Every single you get all those signs sent right to your office on your computer. Do you guys understand that? Because if you're Michigan and you're playing Ohio State, you have reams of tape on them. The NCAA sends it. Ohio State transmits it there's a portal. Every team uploads their all 22 tape, their coaches tape, their positional breakdowns. They all upload it to this portal. And part of that is you're looking right at the sideline where the coach is standing there sending in signs, like you didn't have to do this.
And you still did it. And why did you do it? Oh, that's right. Because you couldn't get over on Lloyd Carr and Company in Columbus.
So when you keep saying everybody does it, yeah, they do. But they don't send people to other stadiums and pay for their travel and pay them and buy tickets on publicly available accounts in their own names. It's wild to me.